All right, so today we have a bronze 1 Mercy. Now, if you want coaching yourself, feel free to join the Discord, as well as make sure to like and subscribe.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Okay.
Objective A.
So setting up on this high ground is a bit dangerous, and the reason why I say it's a bit dangerous is because you just need the enemy team to kind of like walk right up on here, and they're going to add a lot of pressure. They're going to get a pick, or they can just fully bulldoze straight over through here. The only two people are your Ramattra and Alari. So if the enemy team's smart, which this is bronze 1, so they're probably not going to be smart, they're just going to absolutely just rush down mid part right here, kill everybody, and then they're just going to rush point, and then these guys are going to be stuck kind of sitting back. So that's the reason why this part right here usually is like a little bit more dangerous, and the reason why like most people play all the way back here. But I'm not going to 100% blame you for being up there, because once again, I mean, your Mercy, you can't really control how these two guys play besides for damage boosting them. Okay. Good kill by your team, but let's talk about what you could have done. It's pretty tough to figure out what you can do in this situation, because you try to fly down here, you're gonna take a bunch of damage, and then you try to fly up on here. Once again, enemy team can see you. So your best bet is honestly, I guess, try to fly towards your Junkrat and try to just have them body block for you. Let them take the damage and let them try to get the kill for you just to stay alive. Because it's just kind of a tough situation, because you don't really have like a whole lot of cover to defend yourself, because it's just a long hallway. But once again, there is also a mini right here that you can grab. As well as when Bastion's in his turret form, even though he was kind of low right there, I'd wait until he gets a tiny bit lower before you start healing him up, just because he's in his turret form. And when he's in his turret form, that's when he does the most damage. So that's when you're going to want to damage boost him the most. So right in that situation right there, you're going to want to like hard focus that damage boost. And if you need to, like an absolute must, you need to heal him up. But other than that, I'd try to focus on a little bit of damage boost right there. Try to get his maximum value out of that. So I wouldn't really try to drop down right here, because Ramattra gets like the majority of his health back, or doesn't get the majority of his. The majority of his health when he's in his Nemesis form is like overshield. So for example, let me show you real quick. We'll speed up. I can better explain it through this way. So even though he looks like he's low health, the second he goes out of that Nemesis form, which I'll show you, instantly gets like all of his health. Because when he's in his Nemesis form, he has like extra health. I don't know why I was explaining that so terribly, but yeah. So he has extra health the second he goes away from his Nemesis form. So even if he has like, I'd say 25% of his health gone, you don't really have to worry about it too much. Maybe even up to like 60%. As well as like if you feel not too confident with how your Ramattra is playing, and you think your Ramattra is going to die, I would just peek over the corner real quick, heal him. But I would try to stay up on this high ground as much as you can, just because you want to support these two guys to the absolute max. Because the second these two guys die, they're going to cap point. Even though you don't want to normally play up here, you got two players playing up here, and those two players, like, they're going to need as much help as possible to sustain and keep them alive, so the whole team doesn't get wiped. And unfortunately, that's what happens when you dropped. They soloed out the Bastion right there. Maybe you could have been able to keep him alive. I mean, there is probably a good chance that you could have been able to keep him alive, or maybe the Junkrat might have not full sent it in after you left. You never know, to be honest, especially in this rank. But going off that high ground to focus on your tank right there. Got your Bastion killed. Okay.
I need you at peak performance.
So when it comes to 1v1 a Tracer, I honestly wouldn't even recommend trying to take the 1v1. I would probably just try to focus on getting heals. Look for where like Pylon is. If Pylon's not down, try to like just play as safe as you can. You can play like right here. Try to defend yourself for a second. Wait till the Tracer comes back. Fly back around. Maybe hold this ground for a second. Just like try to out juke the Tracer. Try to outplay the Tracer. Try to out maneuver the Tracer. Because that's all you really can do. But the reason why I was saying kind of like go up first is because if you instantly go right over into this corner right here, it's a wide open LOS for the Tracer. So the Tracer shot you right here, and then you fly right over there. All the Tracer has to do is fly right over here, and then finish you off. Thankfully, she has really bad aim, and the Moira probably got a lucky kill on you. I would 100% focus on that. I'd focus on trying to like maybe play cover, out juke the Tracer, because even though it was a good movement of going over here and over here, once again the Tracer was right over here, so all the Tracer had to do is just fly forward or TP once forward and then focus you again.
They'll regret that. Enhancing your strength.
Right.
Here I am.
Objective lost.
Once again, remember you have a Bastion who's hit scan, so he's gonna be your best target for damage boosting. And when you were damage boosting the Bastion most of the time, guess what was happening? You were holding him. But the second you left the Bastion died. And on top of that, I mean, you pretty much got team wiped sooner or later because the whole team was struggling. This is the earliest Bastion form I think I have ever seen anyone use. And it worked. Nice res, but when you go to res, I'd probably try to hug this corner a little bit more. Like the second you go for that res, instantly try to like hug this corner right here, and then maybe try to rotate like over here and then rotate back out like this way. Rotate over towards your Bastion, and then maybe you could fly up here and then maybe like fly up on the high ground for a second, see if any of these guys need help getting back and rotating back. And yeah, should be good for that if you did that exact course, which is good. You actually did rotate back. I do like that.
My duty is being done.
There you go. Damage boost the Bastion. Bastion's getting high picks.
Thanks. I'm recharging. Don't be reckless.
Kill the Mahol.
And then if the Bastion isn't in his turret form, you can also like focus on the Junkrat maybe a little bit. Maybe let the Junkrat spam do a lot of damage. And then when he goes back into his turret form, you can try to focus him. Or if you just like want to feel safe and you think your Bastion's going to do a little bit more than the Junkrat in this case, you can just keep damage boosting the Bastion. Either or works.
Lending you power. Attack with me. Vengeance never dies.
Yeah, unfortunate. So preferably I wouldn't recommend ulting as soon as your tank dies. And the reason why I say that is because, I mean, most of the time you're not going to be able to save them. In this case right here, you weren't really able to save them. The reason why you weren't really able to save them is because you don't really have a tank who can sustain most of the damage, so they're all just going to crumble and fall, and then your ult was unfortunately wasted, which unfortunately quite a bit of players on your team did use ult there, and it didn't really gain a whole lot of value.
I'm being attacked.
Just keep that in mind. Your tank dies, most of the time you're not going to want to use your ult there. You're going to rotate back,
Charging.
reset, and then just go for some more Look for some more value during the next team fight.
You need urgent care.
Nice kill by your Junkrat. Unfortunately, your tank's mad feeding right now, so nothing you can really do about that. Maybe you could have tried to get to him like a little bit more sooner to see if you can maybe out heal it, but I think regardless he was dead. So nothing you can do about that. Bastion's overextending a little bit right here, so you could rotate back down here. Actually, he's not overextending at all because the rest of their team isn't really there. So what you could do is go over, just damage boost Bastion.
I could use some assistance. Damage intensified. It's better. Stay away. I can fix that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right now you're focusing a little too much on heals. And when you focus on too much heals, what tends to happen is you're not getting enough damage out, or your team's not getting really enough damage out, because it's usually like a 4.5 v5, and usually the 5 is going to win against the 4.5. So as weird as it is, if you would have damage boosted maybe a little bit more, like try the damage boost the Junkrat right here so he can spam down in this area right here and get like probably a good pick. Or you could try to damage boost the Bastion right here or anything like that. If you could have done that, there is actually a very good chance that your Junkrat might not have died. And on top of that, your Illari wouldn't have gotten low to begin with. So you gotta be willing to damage boost. You gotta be willing to take that risk. And I know for like a lot of Mercy players, it's kind of like a scary thing to do, because it's like you feel like you're not going to be helping your team out enough, and when you feel like you're not helping your team out enough by damage boost, or like, it's kind of weird. So you feel like you have to heal all the time as a Mercy player, and it's kind of scary to damage boost, because you're like, if I damage to boost too much, then I'm going to get my team killed. But you got to find that good mix. And most players, especially Mercy players, most Mercy players will just sit there and they'll heal a lot because they're too scared to damage boost because they don't want to get blamed. But once again, this is bronze, so you really got nothing to lose. So focus on damage boost.
We're not done here.
Make them regret this. Behind you.
Enhancing
Perfect.
strength.
Even though
Payload has reached the checkpoint.
I was going to say, even though you do want to try to touch point as soon as you possibly can here, because the rest of your team is going to C9 that. That's something, especially in the rank that you're in currently, you got to pay attention to, so you can go and try to touch point, even if it costs you your life. Because even though you guys, there's a good chance that you're going to win that, or win this fight, they did cap, so in the end, they won the fight regardless. We're going to speed up.
My skills are still needed. They have us outnumbered. Boosting your damage. On my way. On my way.
Killing pile on the floor.
Here to assist. Vengeance never dies.
Okay, sorry about that. I didn't realize I was speed boosting.
I expect much from you.
The payload is approaching its destination.
Yep, perfect. Beautiful that you walked around that corner and held that corner. But your best bet right now is you got to instantly go for a res here. You can easily get a res. Yep. That Junkrat right there would have been beautiful if you went for that. Now it's a little bit late. And unfortunately, could even potentially cost you your life. But the second you saw that Junkrat thing right there in your whatchamacallit? Why can I not? Ramattra. I don't even know why I couldn't remember his name. Your Ramattra. the second you're a mantra, like you could instantly check leaderboard because with Mercy you can check leaderboard a lot and tell like who has ult and who doesn't have ult. One sec. Dog out. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. The second you're a like, because you got to be checking the leaderboard like constantly, figure out who has ult, who doesn't have ult, and overall just like try to figure out exactly like what's going to happen. Because for example, if you check the scoreboard and you see that the Ramattra has ult, for example, if you see that the Ramattra has ult, then all you have to do is like instantly go for the res. Like you shouldn't fear a whole lot because the Ramatra's, you know, he's going to be looking for an ult, especially in this rank. He's going to be looking for an ult like at all times. Sorry, that might have been a fairly not greatest explanation just because I was a little bit distracted right there, but yeah, I hope you get the point. As well as in the Discord, I think I'm gonna send you a code of my own Mercy gameplay and just show you exactly how I play Mercy, so you can kind of compare and then kind of have like a good idea on exactly the difference between like a higher level gameplay compared to the gameplay that you're currently doing, because your movement is actually a lot better than last time I've seen you play. But I have noticed that you do make big mistakes like that, for example, and it can cost you. There we go. All right.
Score 0-2. Switching sides. Initiating match.
We're gonna speed up. Or I might even put it at the end of this video. I haven't fully decided yet.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I have my eye on you.
5,
I am empowering you.
3, 2, 1.
As well as Unranked GM on Marvel Rivals will be coming soon.
Checking in.
Do want to focus on that a little bit.
Someone needs a savior.
For all of the Marvel Rivals people that
Don't disappoint me.
have been waiting for those. I know you guys have been waiting for those for a little bit. I'm going to try to pick it up, and I'm going to try to upload those like a lot more. We got Strange, then Star-Lord. I might do Magneto, or I might not. I don't know, because Magneto is like genuinely, I just don't have fun, and I suffer every single time I have to play him. So I might end up doing it. I might not. I don't fully know yet. But just stay tuned for that. Okay. This would be a good moment to kind of like heal up a little bit. Then focus on the damage boost. The insta damage boost on the Bastion right here.
Monstering you. I'm being attacked.
As well as right here. This could be a good time to pop ult, because you got your Ramattra full sending in there, and on top of that, you got these two guys who could easily do damage pretty good. This would be a good time to pop ult here.
Healing stream connected.
I'm at the objective. Anyone else coming? Oh, let's break it.
Unfortunately, you had ult very early right there. That would have been a beautiful ult. You would have gotten like very good value off from that. As well as the second you heard that Bastion die right there, that should have been your insta-Q to try to go for a res.
Don't disappoint me. This will help you. Checking in.
Okay, that was a crazy ult. What you probably could have done is try to go more towards the Bastion right there, but I mean, that was just a crazy ult by that Hanzo right there. I was not expecting that.
My skills are still needed.
All right, we're gonna speed up forward again.
Vengeance never dies.
So let's talk about this ult. How much value are you really gonna get out of it? The answer is not an extreme amount, but it could. Sorry, my LT button kind of gets stuck every now and then, so it forces me to go back. So, how much value are you gonna get out of this? The answer is you might get a little bit of value out of it, but not an extreme amount because you don't have your Bastion, and your Bastion should be your primary focus, your primary target.
Feeling more powerful? Cooking with ya. I'm under attack.
For example, right there, you didn't really get a pick with your ult, or nobody really could get a pick with their ult right there because you didn't really have that Bastion to do the extreme amount of damage. Now, thankfully, Bastion was able to make a play by ulting, but other than that, I mean, not really a whole lot of value.
I'm here to support.
There's a Mega right there, as well as if you're gonna TP to, or if you're gonna go to point, you gotta take that 1v1, you gotta take the risk on it, and you gotta have some confidence on that, because that was very interesting what I saw right there. You freaked out, got very scared, and then ran off. You gotta take the risk. If you're gonna commit to that, you gotta take the risk, and you gotta go for the kill. You can't show any fear.
60 seconds remaining.
Heightening your capability.
Interesting Beth or Reinhardt ult.
You will be fine now.
Okay.
Objective A captured. Escort.
All right, we're gonna speed up forward. There we go.
Locking satellite vector.
So in this case right here, if they lock satellite vector, then the number one thing that you're gonna want to do is actually heal, because you're not gonna be able to out damage boost that at all. So the number one thing that you're gonna want to do here is 100% heal. Just look for heals and look for anything that you can do. Just keep everyone alive as much as you can. Even right here, you could probably sneak right here and go for a res. Perfect.
I didn't say
Awesome.
you could rest. Activating healing stream.
Okay. What was that? Okay, so let's talk about that real quick. You could try to find a way out. that was very funny. That was very interesting. But there was a solo right here. So what you could have done is you maybe could have tried to get them to overcommit to you, and then you try to grab onto here and then fly straight into here and then try to get into here and just reset. If not, best bet, just die. All right, we're gonna speed up.
Ich sollte schnell zurück.
Let's do it faster.
Don't. Vengeance never dies.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!
I'm moving the payload.
Ooh. Unfortunate, just went straight into the Reinhardt's pin. I don't even know how that hit you because I thought you were like right up here. But yeah, it happens.
I'm Dinah Riker. Don't underperform now.
Okay. Yeah, your best bet right there was to kind of heal the Ramattra for a second. Then focus on damage boost.
30 seconds.
I mean, even right here, you probably could snatch a res. Like, instantly, if you kind of like try to focus on where the enemy team is, what the enemy team's doing it, or anything like that, you could easily walked over here, snatch the res. Like, super fast.
I expect much from you. I'll make sure that doesn't stop.
Fortunate. Not really a whole lot you could do right there.
I'm under attack.
Kind of just playing ring around the rosy with your teammate. It happens sometimes.
10 seconds remaining.
Got to get
Yeah, all that could have been avoided if you would have gotten the res off on the Ramattra right there. Insta. And unfortunately, that's how the game ended. So let's kind of talk about exactly everything that you need to work on and everything that you could overall improve on. So what you could improve on is definitely knowing when it's the right decision to like do things. For example, damage boost. You had the right idea in the beginning and you were absolutely stomping them. Like, you were holding them for like a good amount of time. And then the second you stopped damage boosting that Bastion, everything just fell apart and everything went downhill. It shouldn't be 100% your responsibility to constantly heal all the time. You got to have trust in your other support. And I know you can heal every now and then, get some players like stay alive or anything like that. But overall, you need to get that damage boost out. And then ultimates. Your alts, I don't think you really had very good alts. I don't think you had one good alt. And you need to focus on that a lot. You need to focus on when it's the right opportunity, when it's a full team fight, and when your team can gain a massive advantage from your damage boost. The second you see that, and the second you know you could win off from that, you do that, you're going to win a lot more fights, and you're going to win a lot more games off from that as well. As well as reses, just picking up when you can res is very important. You're very disciplined on not resing bad reses, but you also need to be disciplined on resing for good reses. So you got to focus on that as well. And hopefully I'll show you a video on like exactly how you want to do that soon. It might even be at the end of this video. I haven't like fully decided yet, but yeah. Anyway, though, I hope this video helped you out. I'll see you later. Widow's probably going to be our damage boost. Then when Reaper goes to engage, maybe I'll give like Reaper and damage boost or anything like that. But my main priority is probably going to be the Widow right in this situation, just because she's the hit scan.
Still boosting you. Supplying damage increase.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers
I'm
incoming.
here to support.
Enemy in my sights.
Stop the payload.
Just what I needed.
Feeling more powerful? She's gonna blow.
See, right here, I'm not really going to worry about the heals. The Ramattra's chilling. Heal him up for a second. Maybe I'll look for a damage boost just because he's kind of like walking a little bit forward. I hear somebody behind me, so I'm going to rotate back over here.
What's here? Sweet dreams. Not even you deserve death. Enemy in sight.
Come sit in with it. Eyes on a target.
I'm going to appeal to my other support. I'm going to focus on where my support's doing and what my support's doing. So I can try to make my hardest to focus on just exactly trying to keep her alive.
Targeting borderline. Perfection.
So they're going to get back out.
Enhancing your strength.
A little bit heals to Zarya right there. And I'm just going to keep trying to focus on keeping our Widow alive as much as possible.
That's teamwork.
No one can hide from my sight.
Right here, Zarya's probably got high charge, so I'm going to drop down here, and I'm just going to damage boost.
Engage this enemy. Enemy contact.
There we go. I'm gonna heal. I'm gonna rotate back over to our Ana right here, and I'm kind of just gonna chill for a second. And rotate back right over here.
Just what I needed.
Improving your vitals. I need some assistance.
Actually, gonna rotate right over here just because I feel a little bit more safe here for a second. We'll rotate back to our Ana. Heal to our Ana because our Ana we do got to focus on, and do got to appeal to.
Helden sterben nicht.
We'll walk up in the high ground right here. Look around for a second. Gonna keep our Ana alive. Make sure our Ana is gonna stay alive here. I'm not really appealing. Okay, actually she's gonna use Nano, which is all right.
Heroes never die.
Ignore that ult. That ult was terrible. I was gonna try to fly down, get down faster. Ignore that. I haven't played Overwatch in a minute.
Make it forward. Here to help. Feel stronger?
Once again, gonna sit back in this corner right here. Kill Ana. I'm gonna rotate back over here. I'm gonna try to damage boost as much as I can. Rotate back over here. Kill to our Ana for, or to our Zarya for a second. I'm gonna see if I can maybe keep her. What is going on? Kill to our Ana for a second right here. Then rotate back over to the Widow.
30 seconds remaining.
As you can see, most of the time I'm focusing my priority on the Widow right here. Most of the time, whenever I can, and whenever I feel like it's the best, and whenever I feel like it's gonna be safe, I'm gonna instantly go over to our Widow right here. I'm gonna always try to make sure she can get as much damage as possible. Now, like for example, if Ana needs help or anything like that, staying alive, of course I'm gonna appeal to her. Then I'm gonna rotate back over here. I'm gonna kind of sit back for a second. Maybe just rotate back like right over here. Appeal to our Ana. Then we're just gonna die, which is all right. We're gonna keep checking the scoreboard, check whoever has ult, check what's going on. Then we'll continue. So who's our best target right here? Zarya. We're gonna appeal for our Zarya until our Ana is right here. We're gonna rotate back right over here, and we're gonna get to our Widow. Rotate back. Make sure our Widow's gonna be able to stay alive, and then we're gonna damage boost our Widow right here. Second she slows down, that's when I'm gonna look for a damage boost. And keep our Zarya alive, and I'm gonna damage boost our Zarya as well.
Healing stream connected.
Second she goes to respawn or second she goes to reload. Look for a heal on him.
Be uplifted.
I can go for some cheeky right here. See if I can help out him, and then I'm gonna rotate back in. I'm gonna focus on our Ana right here. I'm gonna damage boost. I'm gonna trust my Ana. I'll rotate back right over here. I'm gonna kind of chill right here. Interesting ult. Actually, gonna damage boost our Zarya right here. Give her an unrealistic amount. I'm gonna res. Use the Zarya as like more of a body block. Then once again, we're just gonna be chilling for a damage boost right here on the Widow. We're gonna rotate back a little bit more further. Now right in this situation right here, we're just gonna ult. We're just gonna focus on helping our team get as many picks as possible, just so they can't touch point, so we can end the game faster. Just like that. 1000 damage amplified. That's not bad. 4,000 healing. I'm like a little bit behind the Mercy or the Ana, but that's kind of expected. I mean, 2.4 amplified, not bad.